Well, howdy folks, welcome back to the shop. So today we got a small project that came into the shop here. It's relatively simple. All we really need to do is cut it down to size on the bandsaw, and then we're going to drill, tap a bunch of holes in it on the old Enco mill over here. So let's go over to the drawing and I'll show you exactly what we're going to do here. Alright, so here's the drawing, and I went ahead and did some math and stuff on it because usually I go off of a center point or the edge point here, and then I just use the DRO to go over and then do all my drilling and tapping and stuff. So that's what all these numbers and stuff here are on it. So there's a little bit of math on it, and from what I see from the drawing, the tolerances aren't crazy tight on it. So if I'm off even 10 thousandths over here, even 20 or 30 thousandths over here, it's not going to be an issue. A lot of times whenever you do this with the DRO, you can get tolerance stack up, so you got to be kind of careful with that. But you can see this is basically just a flat piece of, I think it was aluminum beforehand too. It was cut to basically 6 7/8 by 4 inches, and they drilled and tapped a bunch of holes in it, and it worked fine. So what they're asking to do is they want to make it a fin piece of aluminum. In other words, this is a heat sink material. So they're trying to draw heat off of whatever they're doing in this project here. So this is the material I had ordered. They crested 2 of them. So there's the other one there. Got a little bit of oil spots on it or something, but you can see they're pretty nice material. It's anodized black. This fin is bent, but I don't care. So what I did already is, here's the piece we need. And I might end up splitting the fins to make it look uniform. That's what these 2 lines here are. So this is really what we need to do, is we're going to go ahead and bandsaw this to size. We're going to go bandsaw this, bandsaw that, and then we're going to put it in the mill, and we're going to mill it down to actual what the drawing dimensions are, which is 4 inches and stuff. So with that said, guys, let's start getting this cut out and get it roughed in, and then we'll start getting the holes drilled and tapped. Well, unfortunately it doesn't fit in my bandsaw. The throat here is not big enough, so unfortunately I'm going to have to cut it on the table like this, and I'm going to try not to put the other table on, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and get the height milled down. So all we're going to do is we're going to set it in here. Just hold it down lightly. Maybe just give it a light tap. And what I'm using here is just a small fly cutter. I didn't see any reason to go with something else, so fairly high speed. We'll go ahead and get this lowered down here and we'll start cutting. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get a measurement to see what we got to take off yet here. And we are 4.057, so we got 57 thousandths to come off. So we're going to take 50 off, and then we'll take the 7 off as a finish pass. Okay, let's get another measurement here, and all right, good. We have our 7 thousandths to take off, so this is going to be our final pass on this one. Alrighty, let's take a final measurement just to be sure. There you go, 4 inches right on the nose. All right, so I'm going to use my wide parallels here, And what we're going to do is we're going to just go ahead and side mill these edges off here. So I didn't change my collet, so this is 3/4 collet. Well, there's a 3/4 bit laying there handy, so I'm just going to use it. So that's all we're going to do is stick it down in there, tighten it up, and then all we're going to do is just side mill this end off to get it good and cleaned up, and then we'll go to this side and measure off and get it cut to size. And you can see I did the climb mill on the back end on purpose there. That's because it'd give me a little bit better of a finish. But okay, so now we can stick this guy in and clamping down, and we'll get a measurement. And like I said, it's 6.88. So our length right now looks like 6.92. So we have 40 thousandths to take off. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and fire it up. We'll touch off, and then we'll use the digital readout for our depth. All right, there we touched off. We'll zero out real quick, and then we'll feed over 40 thousandths. All right, so we'll get a measurement here. And let's see what we're at. And we are at, looks like 6.879 almost. It's between that and 8.8. So we're pretty much right there. So this one here is done. All we need to do is size the other one, and then we're good to go. All right, so we're ready to start actually drilling and getting these holes tapped and all that stuff. So I just wanted to show you that I still had left my wide parallels in, and I always make this corner my 0 point, so that whenever I put this material in, I usually just put a parallel up against the side, slide it right to it. So now this corner is my 0. So, and right there, we're ready to go. So if you look, you can see that that drill bit, actually this is a spotting drill, is right on that corner. And the reason why I'm going to run a spotting drill, I was looking at the drawing here, and some of these holes are really small holes. So these two are for 440 screws, so that's a pretty small drill. And then these other ones are 632, which are fairly small too. So my thought was, 440, that small drill, it could walk. So I think I'm going to spot them in just to make sure they don't walk. I know the tolerances aren't that crazy on it, but I think that's still what I'm going to do. So if you want to kind of look at the drawing, so this is basically how it's going to be laid out. So I'm going to start, here's my corner, this is the corner here. So I'm going to use the digital readout up here and basically use it for all my dimensions. So we can start. So the first dimension is 40 thousandths up. I'm sorry, 400 thousandths up, and is 380 thousandths in. And that is our first drill hole. And what I'm referring to is this hole here. Like I said, it's going to be just like this. So it is 40 thousandths up right there, and it's 38 thousandths or 380 thousandths over. And like I said, this is 400 thousandths over. I keep on saying 40 thousandths, but it's 400 thousandths. So that hole is ready to be spotted. Now we're going to go ahead and hit this hole, which that's 6.51 inches over. Okay, so the first one's spotted in, and you can tell that this takes a lot more time than what a lot of people think. But one of the things that I was thinking about while I was doing this spotting here is, now that all these holes are spotted, there's really nothing stopping me from just putting it over on the drill press now and using these holes, these spotted holes, and then drilling and tapping it over on the drill press. I haven't decided if that's what I'm going to do yet or not, but I'm going to give it some thought here, and then I'll bring you back and let you know what I'm going to do. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get the second one spotted in since everything's set up already. Okay, I decided against with going over to the drill press. I figured since I kind of have everything set up here, I'm just going to go ahead and do it here. So let's get started. So this is for the 632, so we got 8 holes. Alright, so we got those 8 holes put in. Now let's get the other, looks like there's six more holes. Alright, so all the holes are drilled so far except for the center 2, and those were 440 threads. So let me go ahead and get the drill for that, and we'll get those drilled. Alright, so the reason why I spotted them in is mainly because of this drill bit, and you can see just by pushing it a little bit. So if your hole's not spotted in there, you know, this guy could walk pretty much anywhere. So that's kind of why I did that. The 632 drills will do the same thing, but not as bad as the smaller ones. But 632 will definitely do it. These outer ones really didn't need to be spotted in, but since I had the spotting drill in, I figured I might as well spot them. So alright, this thing is pretty much ready to tap, but what I'm going to do is get this second one drilled. That way it's done and ready to go. So hang tight, I'll do that off camera because it's kind of getting boring watching drill some holes. So let me get this one done and I'll bring you right back, and then we'll start getting this tapped in. And then there's one other feature we got to put in I forgot about, and I'll show you that in a second here. Alright guys, so I decided against power tapping this. I'm afraid of breaking one of these small taps. That's the downfall whenever you're using small taps. You know, these are 632 and these are 440 threads. You know, you can break it off really easy in a mill doing power tapping. So what I'm going to use is my spring center here to help keep me centered up. So I'm going to use my digital readout up there just the same, and then just go to each hole like normal. But I'm going to use that to help center up my tap. So here's my little tap handle. And then there's my 632 tap, and then I'm going to use my lovely go-to Tap Magic fluid. That's one of my favorites. All we're going to do is we're just going to bring this over here. We're going to lower this down just like that, lock it, and then we'll just go ahead and crank it in. Put a little bit of Tap Magic on her. We'll take the pressure off of it and back it out. And there you go. Perfect threads. So we'll just go along the line and do all of our threads that way. Alright guys, you can tell that it's going to take me a little while to get all these holes tapped, and I'm going to do that for both of these. So why don't I get all these holes tapped and I'll bring you back, and then we'll continue on. It's kind of boring to watch it sit here and tap all these holes. So alright, I'll bring you right back, and then we're going to finish the last process, which has to do with these outer holes, and I'll show you that here in a second. Alright guys, so we got all the holes drilled and tapped on both of these here. So the next thing is okay, so these outer holes over here, well, the screw has to go through this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a 1/2 end mill here, and we're going to plunge down, you know, center up on the hole, plunge all the way down until it just touches the bottom and makes a nice flat spot. That way, you know, the screw that they put in there can bottom out and tighten up real nice. So let's get that started. And we'll do the same thing to line it up. Just use our parallel over against this edge, tighten it down. So our first hole was 40 thousandths up, or 400 thousandths, I keep doing that. And it was 380, if I remember correctly. And yes, 380. All right, so what we're gonna do is just slowly feed it down. Not a full flat on the bottom there yet. I'm gonna say there we are. And we are, I believe so. All right, I'm gonna pull it out and kind of show you what I'm talking about here. And that's what we're talking about, is nice flat in there so that the screw can go down in there. It does look a little bit off center for some reason, so I'm gonna investigate that, and then we'll do the rest of the holes here. All right, so I did look at that hole, and what happened is the tolerance stack up kind of got me a little bit, but so what I did is readjusted everything. It's not going to be an issue because they didn't know what size they wanted this recess in here. So what I did was measure a 1032 screw. That's one that's actually going down through here. Well, that washer is bigger than the 1/2" end mill I had anyway. So we're going to step up to a 9/16 end mill and plunge down and touch the surface just like we did before. And that'll also re-round everything and make it look pretty uniform. So let's give it a shot here and see what it looks like. Actually, that looks really good. I like it. So what we're going to do is step off to our next one here, which is 6.51. So also on the depth on this here, I zeroed out my quill. That way I knew what depth I needed to go. And that looks good. All right, one more. All right, so this one here is done, and I'll show you here. And you can see what the recesses look like. They look pretty good. So we'll get the other one set up in here, and I'll do that off camera, and then I'll deburr all this and bring you right back. All right, guys. So I finished up the second one. I got all the counter bores put in it, and then I took them out, deburred them, washed them up, and cleaned them up, and they look great. So I think they'll be happy with them. And you can see, you know, there's the one, there's the other. They look really good. Very pleased with how they come out. I did check the threads. The threads look good and all the stuff there. So I'm very pleased on how this job turned out. Hopefully it works well for the application. So with that said, guys, please hit that like and subscribe button if you can. And until next time, take care.